and are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Good
All
morning.
right, you may continue your direct examination.
Thank you. Mr. Menendez, we were talking about that time when you were in Dr. Oziel's office on October 31st, 1989, after he had called your brother Lyle to come over. Okay?
Yes.
Now, you told us yesterday that Dr. Oziel asked you why this had happened. Is that right?
Yes.
And you told him you didn't know why?
Yes.
Did he then ask you any other questions about how it came about or what got it started or anything like that?
Yes, he asked what brought it up or when it came up, or I don't remember the exact words that he used.
Okay, and what did you tell him in response to that?
I told him that week
Okay.
that there were conversations between Lyle and I.
And what were you specifically, well, let me ask you this, were you telling him the truth of what was said in those conversations between yourself and your brother?
No, I was telling him part of the conversation, part not. The part that I didn't want to tell him, I didn't tell him.
And what part of the conversations that you had had with your brother, what subjects did you tell him about?
Just about my mother and my father and what the family was like.
And with respect to the actual conversations that you had with Lyle, on Friday, before your parents were killed, when you were driving south, was there any conversation between yourself and your brother about the family?
Yeah, I was telling him mostly about the Tuesday and Friday conversation. Those are the ones I was thinking of when I was talking to him.
Okay. My first question, though, is were there conversations, real, truthful conversations between you and Lyle on Tuesday and on Friday when you were driving to San Diego about your family?
Yes.
Okay. And was it parts of those conversations that you were telling Dr. Oziel?
Sustained.
What were you and Lyle, what was the subject matter that you and Lyle were talking about on Friday concerning your parents?
Just about how different things were and how strange and scary things were inside the family because of all the chaos.
And were you tying that in any way to your parents' personalities or how they had treated you or anything like
Yes.
that?
Sustained. Answer stricken.
What was the thrust of your conversation with Lyle about how strange and how different things were in the family?
I told him about more details about what happened with my dad at Kalamazoo. We talked about the fact that Mom wasn't taking her medication anymore and how scary a person she had become because of all the threats that she had made over the course of when we lived in Beverly Hills and California, and just about how just when and why, or what we were thinking about when the family no longer seemed to be a family. We talked about the affairs that Dad had and the effects that it had on Mom and how Mom changed.
Okay. So do you recall telling Dr. Oziel some part or parts from that conversation?
Yes, I did.
Now, with respect to that week before your parents were killed, did you, do you believe you said anything to Dr. Oziel about what kind of emotional condition you were in that week?
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I told him that I was a mess and that I was falling apart. I probably did.
Okay.
At what time were you referring to when in the session?
Well, at any time during the session of October 31st, did you tell him, well, strike that. You said you told him that after he asked you, you told him that there were conversations that week.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you know, was it before that or after you told him about the conversations that week that you mentioned anything about your emotional condition?
Probably after.
Now, after you told Dr. Oziel something about these conversations you had had with your brother, did he start talking to you?
Yes.
And can you characterize for us what kind of talk was he doing?
The talk that he did in that session, he would just tell me what he was thinking and tell me why he was thinking that and tell me, in essence, what I was thinking, because I wasn't telling him what I was thinking. I was saying, I don't know. At this point, I was more thinking about Lyle, and so I wasn't talking very much. And so he was saying that I didn't really understand, and that was one of his bigger things.
What was one of his big things?
That I didn't understand, and that I didn't really know, and that it was too confusing, and it was too much, and I was in such a state that I didn't really understand why this happened or what. So he was telling me from what he knew about my parents, from what he knew what he thought was going on.
Okay. When he says he told you what you were thinking when? While you're in his office or some other time?
No, that last week.
Was he right?
No.
Did you tell him he wasn't right?
No, I really wasn't concerned about that at the moment.
Well, did you intend to tell him what had really happened?
No. I hadn't intended to tell him anything. I realized that I shouldn't have when I was there with him.
All right. Now, do you recall your brother arriving?
Yes.
Now, you heard your brother testify to what the interaction was between himself and Dr. Oziel after he arrived. Did you not?
Yes.
Do you have a memory any different than your brother's on that point?
No, it was basically that.
And did you ever hear your brother threaten Dr. Oziel?
No, he didn't threaten Dr. Oziel. He just was pretty nervous in the session. Lyle, he was angry and he was nervous and he just didn't want to be there.
And did Dr. Oziel try to get Lyle to talk about the killing of your parents?
Yes.
And did Lyle do that?
No, Lyle told him many times, I don't want to be here. I don't want to know what Erik said. I just want to talk to Erik. That's what he was saying.
Now, how did you react to your brother being upset and angry?
I was reacting to different things. I was reacting to Dr. Oziel saying, I think I'm being threatened, or you're acting menacing toward me, or something like that he was saying. And Lyle just saying, I can't believe that you went to Dr. Oziel and not me. And I just was feeling really guilty about doing that, and about the whole situation and how I really screwed up by even going to Dr. Oziel. And so I just ran out of the room crying.
So you were upset?
Yes.
And when you ran out of the room crying, was that the last participation you had in any kind of conversations with Dr. Oziel that night?
Yes.
And at the up until the point where you had run out of the room, from the time that Dr. Oziel asked you, what happened with respect to killing your parents, until that point when you ran out of the room, did he ever get back to the fact that you wanted to kill yourself and were depressed?
No, I tried to at one point, but he wanted to know the details of what happened, and he wasn't concerned about that other stuff.
And when you left the room, were you feeling better than when you had first gotten
I was
there?
feeling really miserable. I was feeling like I had just made things a whole lot worse, and regretting that I had gone there, and just because for different reasons.
Okay. Now, after this session, did you have a conversation with your brother?
Yes.
And what was the basic subject matter of that conversation with your brother?
What I had told Dr. Oziel and what we were going to do about going back to see Dr. Oziel, if we were or we weren't, if we were, what we were going to do.
Had you told Dr. Oziel before you left the street? Had you told Dr. Oziel out at the street that you would be coming back?
Yes.
Do you remember whether or not you actually made an arrangement for a particular date to come back?
I think we did. I thought that we had arranged to go back on the Thursday. It was the day that he had off or something like that, but I'm not sure if we had arranged the exact time.
And what was it that you and your brother decided in that conversation about whether you should go back to see Dr. Oziel, and what, if anything, you should talk about?
Well, a lot of things were talked back and forth between Lyle and I. We eventually decided we had to go back and see him because Lyle and I both felt that he very well could go to the police and or that we might get arrested that night or the next day. We didn't know, so we figured we'd go back and see him.
And what was your resolve about what you were going to talk to him about?
Just about what was inside the family, since I was really feeling terrible, and I really was feeling very guilty about that I had done this to Lyle, and so Lyle wanted me to, if we were going to go back, to at least be able to talk about some of the things I was feeling inside the family. So we decided that we could do that and sort of avoid the other subject.
Well, were you going to avoid it, or was there any decision made about other subjects, such as your molestation or
No.
what
We were
led
not
to-
going to talk about that. Definitely not going to talk about that.
And what were the reasons why you resolved not to talk about that?
Partly because I did not want to talk about that, and I was not going to talk about that, and Lyle was pretty adamant about it as well. I mean, I had brought up to the fact to Lyle that, I'm sorry that I created such a mess that Dr. Oziel now is afraid that I told him maybe I should have told him and the truth, and I didn't know, and Lyle was really reassuring that I did fine, I did the right thing, not telling him, and that it definitely shouldn't. And so I felt strong about that.
Let me ask you this. You've testified you felt guilty about killing your parents.
Yes.
Okay. What did you think of your parents at that point?
I didn't hear the
What
question.
did you think of your parents at that point by October 31st?
I thought they were these great people that I had killed, and I didn't understand now very much.
And did you have any feelings about talking about them in a negative way?
I didn't want to talk about them in a negative way. I loved them more than I had ever loved them in my life at that point because of how sad I felt. And I just wanted to talk about the good things, even though it made me feel worse.
Excuse me?
I said, even though it made me feel worse, I just needed to.
Now, you heard Dr. Oziel testify about all these negative things about domination and control and about your father that he says was said in both sessions.
Yes.
Who was saying those things?
Dr. Oziel.
Now, some of those things were true, weren't they? I mean, your father was like that.
Yeah, and that's what Dr. Oziel's understanding was, that my dad was this very controlling, he used the word dominating, or domineering a lot. That's from his context with my dad, that's what he thought my dad was, and so that's...
And when he said those things, did you agree with him that that is what your dad was?
Yes.
Now, in your mind, was that everything your dad was, or was he also other things?
Actually, overall.
My dad was a whole lot of different things.
Dr. Oziel testified that you discussed with him writing this book about your father, this very favorable book.
Yes, I told him that I wanted to write a book talking about how great he was.
And did you at that time believe your father was great?
Yes.
Now, Dr. Oziel also talked about the fact that your mother was miserable and your mother was suicidal and your mother couldn't live without your father. Were these things that you believed?
These were some of the things. Dr. Oziel didn't have a good understanding of my mother. I guess he didn't have as much contact with my mother, or my mother was always a very private person, so I guess she didn't open up to him. I don't know what it is, but he had a certain feeling about both my mom and my dad, and they were off in many respects, but that's what he believed. Certainly she was miserable and she was suicidal, but he didn't understand her.
And when he talked about your mother in those terms, did you disagree with him?
No.
Now, can you tell us, Mr. Menendez, concerning the session of November 2nd, okay? Could you characterize, basically, what it was you were trying to convey and your brother was trying to convey in that session, and what it was Dr. Oziel was doing?
Well,
Objection as to what his brother was trying to do.
Sustained.
Well, Your Honor,
Objection sustained.
what,
Wait a second. She's going to have to ask another question.
yeah, I'm going to rephrase the question. Could you characterize what you and your brother were conveying and what Dr. Oziel was conveying? Do you
Yeah.
understand the question?
Yes.
Okay.
I was trying to talk about different things. I was trying to get back to how depressed I was, and I wanted to know what I should do, just in case I ever got so depressed that and
Did he address that when you brought that up? Did he deal with it, Dr. Oziel? Did he pick
no,
up
he
on
said
it?
he'd deal with it later, and he never got back to it. But we were talking about what Mom and Dad were like. That's what we decided to do, and that's what I felt like doing. And Dr. Oziel was talking about that, and he was talking about what we felt, and he was saying, no, you really don't understand. And I was saying, no, I don't understand. He says, I know I've got to do a lot of therapy with you, or a lot of hypnosis, he was saying, to get out your feelings, and he was really trying to get out why this all happened. And Lyle kept saying, I don't want to talk about why, I don't know why, and trying to stay away from it until Dr. Oziel would go away from it and then come back to it. And
Okay, and did he have theories?
yes,
Overall.
And were you presented with them?
yes,
Now, let me ask you something. Do you recall Dr. Oziel testifying that you and your brother both commented frequently throughout the session on how perfect the appearance of your family was to the outside world?
yeah, he testified to that.
And what's the significance of that statement to you?
That's basically what we talked about how everyone thought my family was so wonderful, and really what a shambles it was. And especially the marriage between my mom and my dad.
And he testified to that also, that that was one of the examples of how perfect it appeared and how bad it really was?
He didn't testify to that very much, but he did testify to that.
Was that very much, this notion of how perfect the family was in appearance and how false that was that very much what the conversation was about? On
That was what almost all the conversation was about.
Now, did you sense, Mr. Menendez, during this session of November 2nd, that Dr. Oziel, in his theories, had come to certain conclusions about what had brought about the killing of your parents that were wrong?
Objection, legal.
Sustained.
Did you sense during this session that Dr. Oziel had formulated any conclusions?
Well, I didn't sense it. He told us what... He wasn't saying so much, I think this. He was saying, this is what happened, you don't really understand, and eventually I'll be able to explain it to you and you'll be able to understand.
All right. So you knew what his conclusions were.
Yes.
Objection, legal.
Sustained.
Did you know what his conclusions were from things that he said?
Yes.
Did you set him straight?
No.
Now, on either October 31st or November 2nd, did either you or your brother ever tell Dr. Oziel that you had formulated a plan to kill your parents?
No.
Did you ever tell him you formulated the perfect plan to kill your parents?
No.
On October 31st or November 2nd, did any of you, yourself, your brother, or Dr. Oziel, ever mention that your mother was probably or was in fact killed because she was a witness?
No.
When was the first you ever learned that Dr. Oziel was prepared to say that?
When I read his notes after I was arrested. And I didn't know he was prepared to say that then, though. I didn't know he was prepared to say that until I heard him testify.
So even after you read the notes, you didn't believe he'd really said
I read a lot of things.
Sustained.
All right, but the fact is, you didn't even know that
Objection sustained to the form of the question.
before I get out.
Well, you start out in the way that you knew what the answer would be.
Okay,
Let's
let's
ask a different way.
All right. You didn't hear that word witness used in the session?
In the session, definitely not.
Did you hear any talk about there was no way to kill your father unless you killed your mother?
No.
Mr. Menendez, in your family life, when you were living in Beverly Hills, was your family involved with another house? Did you have another house?
We were building the Calabasas house.
And who in your family was in charge of supervising the redoing and the remodeling of that house?
My dad gave that project to my mom.
So who was in charge of doing
My
it?
mom.
And did it take up much of her time?
Took up a fair amount of her time.
And who in your family, as between your mother and father, was in charge of paying all the bills and tracking the family finances? And
My mom.
And who was in charge of making sure that the house ran, that there were groceries, that there were, all the things?
My mom.
And who was in charge, in fact, of scheduling tennis tournaments and tennis matches and all that sports stuff for yourself and your brother?
My mom.
And were there times that when you and your brother would be alone at the house with your father?
Yes.
Was that rare or infrequent?
Almost every weekend.
And on the weekends, what would your mother be doing during the day?
She'd either go over to the Calabasas house to check out things, or she'd run errands, or do whatever.
And as between your parents, which one of them on the weekends tended to get up earlier?
My mom. She got up early most of the time, and sometimes was out of the house by 8.
And what was your father's custom and habit with respect to the time he would get up on weekends?
He got up late.
Usually what time?
10, 11 o'clock. Every once in a while he slept till 12.
And when you and your brother would be home alone with your father, what would you guys be doing?
Usually playing tennis.
And what would your father do while you and your brother were playing tennis?
He was usually on the tennis court.
Now, can you, do you remember generally the sequence of the conversation on November 2nd? In other words, what was the start of the conversation and where did it go to from there?
It started with, I don't remember everything that happened in the conversation, but it started with him talking about the fact that he had these tapes in safety deposit boxes, and how he just wanted to let us know that, and that made us pretty nervous at that point.
Okay. And was there any discussion of confidentiality?
Yes.
And how, and you heard Dr. Oziel give you a statement about confidentiality?
When?
You're asking about his testimony
Yeah.
or at the time of
At the
this
time, and
conversation?
on November 2nd. Do you
I
remember?
mean, on November 2nd, he did, yes.
Okay. And what was your sense, based on what he was saying and what had occurred between October 31st and now at November 2nd, about confidentiality?
Well, he was telling me that he could go to the police if he felt threatened, and he said he had felt threatened. And so I wasn't sure what was confidential and what wasn't.
Now, Mr. Menendez, did you hear Dr. Oziel testify that in the preceding year, you heard we took him through his appointment records?
Yes.
Okay. And did you hear him testify that he had obtained from you waivers of confidentiality?
Yes, he did.
And that the purpose, he testified, the purpose of that was so he could report back to your parents?
Yes.
And during the preceding year when you knew Dr. Oziel, did you believe that what you were telling him was confidential?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Did you believe during the preceding year, having signed those waivers, did you believe that what you told him was confidential?
No, I knew they were either going to go to my father or my mother.
Apart from them, you thought it was confidential?
Yes.
Now, do you recall this statement that Dr. Oziel made about your Jeep in the November 2nd session? Do you recall at the session what he said about it?
Yes, somewhat. Not completely, but somewhat.
You heard your brother testify that Dr. Oziel said he was worried looking down, thought you guys in your Jeep were plotting and planning stuff?
Yeah, I don't think he said he was looking down, but what I remember about it was that Dr. Oziel said something like, I pictured you guys sitting and talking in the Jeep or something like that.
Okay. And how did you react to that?
I said, boy, I wonder if this guy really is scared. I found it difficult to believe that he was so scared because I'm the one that went to him in the first place. And I'm the one that went to him talking about the fact that I wanted to kill myself. I certainly didn't want to harm him in any way. And so I was still having trouble believing that he was so scared, but the way he was talking about this Jeep thing and the fact that he had tapes and safety deposit boxes, I was thinking maybe he was.
Okay. And did that notion of yours that maybe he was, did that have any influence over how you talked to him or what you talked about?
Yes.
And what influence did it have?
It made me want to calm him down. It made me want to agree with him and let him know that, everything was fine.
Okay. Now, you said that most of the conversation had to do with discussions about your family and what your parents were like. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you remember what the last topics were that were discussed?
I remember some of them, yes.
Okay. And can you tell us what those topics were?
Some of them were about the financial state that our family was in.
And how did that come up?
That came up, I remember briefly it came up in the middle of the conversation. I know it came up on the 31st.
Okay, tell me first then, how did it come up on the 31st?
When I was telling him about how depressed I was telling him that I was going to get all this money, and I was telling him that I just felt guilty about getting a lot of the money, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I felt like I had just killed my parents, and now I was getting all of their money, and I felt sort of guilty about that. I mean, I wanted to live, and I wanted to be able to live, but I felt guilty about getting all these things that they had worked for.
Okay. And how did it come up again on November 2nd?
It came up again when he brought it up, and he talked about the fact that we were going to get, I think it was $14 million, my Aunt Martha told me, or 15, something like that. It came up.
Let me stop you for a second. When your Aunt Martha was this is in that conversation that you've previously told us about with your Aunt Martha and your brother and yourself?
Yes.
And that's the conversation where you testified you're basically arguing with her that you're not going to get any money, that you've been disinherited?
It wasn't an argument, but that's how the conversation went.
Well, you're disputing what she thinks she knows.
Sustain.
Were you disagreeing with your Aunt Martha?
Yes.
And that number, $14, $15 million, did you know whether that was a gross number or a net number? Did you know the difference between gross and net?
I didn't really know the difference at that time.
So that was the numbers that stayed in your head?
Yes.
In fact, did you learn later that the estate wasn't worth anything like that?
Yes.
Objection sustained. The answer is true.
What did you learn later about the estate?
Just that it was worth, I think it was worth half that.
And that was was that before things were actually liquidated or sold, or after?
Yes, that was just what they thought it was going to be if they could sell things at this price, and that price was before the recession and so on.
Okay. So you were telling us how the financial issue was raised during the November 2nd session,
Yes,
okay? And who raised it?
Dr. Oziel.
And what did he say?
I don't quite remember what he said in the middle of the session, but at the end of the session, he was talking about the fact that we were going to get this money, and that we should use it wisely, and that he had a lot of great ideas and a lot of good investment tips and a lot of good investment plans that just needed money, and that it could make a lot of money. And he showed us. I remember he showed us his business cards that he had on his desk, and was
He had more than one business card?
Yes.
Do you remember why?
I don't remember the name of the company, but I know he had like 3 different business cards. And what was he saying? He was saying that he was just talking about how he had these different companies that could make a lot of money, and aside from that, he had these different investments that he thought could do great, and that I remember he was saying that he was real stressed or real nervous from what had occurred on the 31st, and just talking all about it.
He was talking about being stressed and nervous at the same time that he was talking about his company's investment tips?
Yeah, well, he was talking about it in the sense that he was going to have to cut down on his work now because of the stress that he was now under, and how he thought that it would be really preferable if Lyle and I could invest with him, and then everyone would be happy. That's essentially what he was saying.
How did you interpret that?
I interpret that as he wanted to be a part of when the money was going to come in.
And how did you feel about that?
If it would calm him down and if it would relax him, then fine. I mean, he said that, if it was gonna make things okay, then that's fine. I mean, I didn't have the sense anymore that he was so much afraid. I didn't have that sense at all, and it was strange. And I thought I was just confused, or I was getting it mixed up, but it was. If it was going to relax him, then fine. He was saying he was stressed, and if it was going to solve that, then fine. He could do what he wanted.
Okay. And at the end of the session, well, strike that. At any time towards the end of the session, did he ever get back to your depression or your guilt?
No.
Now, Mr. Menendez, on October 31st, when you were alone with Dr. Oziel, did the subject matter of your dealing with your guilt by turning yourself into the police ever come up?
No.
Did he ever tell you that anything about the way to deal with that guilt was to face the music, basically?
Actually, he was doing the opposite. He was telling us that where we had the guns was not a safe place, and he was actually helping us deal with the opposite.
When was that?
That was during those 2 sessions. I think
was
it
that-
was during the November 2nd, because I don't think it was during the November 31st. There
You
wasn't
mean
time.
October 30th?
I mean October 31st.
So on November 2nd, he's giving you suggestions about...
Yes.
Now, you didn't see that in his notes, did you?
No, that was not in his notes. He didn't have anything of those sort of conversations in his notes.
He didn't have any... There's nothing in his notes about giving you financial advice either, is there?
No, and that's what I mean by I didn't know what he was going to testify to.
So I take it did not come up on the November 2nd either that the appropriate way to deal with this problem might be to turn yourself in.
No.
Sustain the answer stricken.
Did the issue of turning yourselves in ever come up on November 2nd?
No.
And after the November 2nd session, Mr. Menendez, was your depression abated? Were you feeling less guilty? Were you less suicidal?
No, not at all.
You weren't any better?
No.
During the course of the November 2nd session, how were you feeling emotionally?
How was I feeling emotionally during the session?
How were you feeling?
I don't even remember. I was feeling a lot of different things. When I thought he was afraid at the beginning, I thought, boy, I can't believe how I screwed this all up and just made a mess of the whole situation. At the end, I was sort of a little suspicious. In the middle, I was crying most of the time.
Well, what was being discussed in the middle?
Mom and Dad's relationship, just basically what the family was, why it was really not this wonderful family that everyone thought.
Okay, let me go back with you now to October 31st of that session, to some of the details that you gave him. You've heard Dr. Oziel testify about what you supposedly told him concerning the sequence of events after the shooting.
I heard Dr. Oziel testify to that? Yes.
All right. Did he testify accurately with respect to what you told him?
No.
And how was he inaccurate?
He left out some things. He got it all jumbled up and mixed up.
Okay. What specifically did he leave out?
He left out that we went to the theater.
The movie theater?
Yeah, he didn't say we went to the theater anytime that night, and I'm sure he left out. I don't really remember. I haven't seen the notes.
Okay, but he didn't testify here in court that you told him that you went to the movies at some point after.
No.
Can you approach the show?
Yes. Okay,
I guess.
we'll find out.
Right. All right, Mr. Menendez, I was talking to you, I was asking you about the conversation that you had with Dr. Oziel before your brother arrived on October 31st, wherein you were giving him some details about the night of your parents' death. Okay? You focused on where we are?
Yes.
All right. Did you ever tell Dr. Oziel, in describing how the shooting occurred, that you surprised your parents?
I doubt it. I don't know.
You doubt it?
I may have.
Well, why would you have
I said we ran in on him, so I don't.
But the question is, do you believe you used the word surprise?
No, it's not the kind of word I would use in that situation, so I don't think I did.
Okay. Did you know after your parents were killed who you had shot? Did you know who you had shot? I mean, apart from your parents, did you know if you shot your father, if you shot your mother?
No.
And did you ever tell Dr. Oziel any specifics about who shot whom?
No.
Did you mention to him, however, the fact that there was a reloading?
Yes.
Did you tell him that both guns were reloaded, or did you not tell him that?
No, I didn't tell him that.
Were both guns reloaded?
No.
Did you say anything to Dr. Oziel on the 31st about your father making a noise or a sound or something when you came into the room, after you got into the room?
Yes.
And what did you tell him that your father said or did?
I told him my father said no.
And how did you describe the tone or the implication of that no?
It was a very rough, demanding tone.
And were you already firing when you heard that?
Yes.
What did you think your father was trying to do?
I thought he was ordering us to stop firing.
Now, did Dr. Oziel at any time after you talked to him about the details, I'll strike that, did Dr. Oziel during the November 2nd session bring those details up again?
No.
Did he ever ask you to verify that things that he had put in his notes were accurate?
No, he would not have done that.
He would not have done that on November 2nd?
No.
Why?
It actually calls for speculation overall.
Why did you say that?
Because then I'd know what he put in his notes, and I'd know that they weren't accurate, so he wouldn't have shown them to me.
Okay. But my point is, he told you that he had... First of all, when you were telling Dr. Oziel on October 31st the details of the crime, what was your demeanor?
I was crying.
And he wasn't taking notes.
No.
And you weren't taking notes.
No.
And there wasn't any tape recorder going, trying to get it down, was there?
No.
And on November 2nd, he didn't go over with you to see if he had heard you correctly, did he?
No.
Now, what was your attitude with respect to Dr. Oziel after the session of November 2nd? Was he someone you felt you could rely upon? Was he someone you felt you could trust? What?
No. I was really suspicious by the end because of all the statements that because he wasn't really talking about fear anymore. He was talking about money and his stress, and I was a little confused and a little suspicious and a little, I don't even know how to describe how I was feeling.
And you had gone to him originally for help with an emotional problem?
Yeah, I was extremely depressed, and I didn't like the fact that when I tried to bring that up, he'd always say, "We'll talk about it later," either. I didn't understand a lot of things.
Now, you heard, did you hear Dr. Oziel during the session of November 2nd talk about how helpful he could be to you and your brother?
Yes.
Did you put any credence in that? Did you believe that that was true?
No. At first I thought he might have been talking about in terms of my depression, and then I realized he wasn't, and I didn't think he could be helpful any other way.
Were you concerned, Mr. Menendez, that at some point you might indeed be arrested for this and be put on trial?
I thought I eventually would be.
And was that something that had occurred to you between August 20th and November 2nd?
Yes.
Did you think as of November 2nd that Dr. Oziel would be a useful witness for you?
No.
Is there some reason why you could tell Dr. Oziel that you had killed your parents, but couldn't tell him the things that your father had done to you all those years?
Yes.
And why do you think that was?
It was because I just felt so guilty about the killing my parents, and I had tried to tell different people about that, but there was no way that I was going to talk about what happened between my dad and I. It was so close in time to when it happened. I just couldn't talk about it. I was much too ashamed to even deal with it.
Let me ask you this. Over the years, had you been tempted to tell people about the fact that your father was having sex with you?
Definitely not. No, never a temptation.
Was that something that you in fact, tried to do the opposite with?
Objection, moved, sustained.
What did you want to do with that information, with those facts of what was going on between you and your father?
I wanted to keep it as secret as possible and bury it and throw it in the ocean and have it disappear, basically.
And do you know what prompted you to tell the one person you did tell, your cousin Andy?
Because that was because I was trying to understand. I was really beginning to really question what was happening between my dad and I never questioned it before. And I sort of wanted to find out from Andy if this had ever happened to him, if this was some sort of thing that happened to people, and it was normal, or was I strange? And
Did you tell your cousin Andy to get his help?
no.
Your Honor, I think that might conclude the joint testimony.
And how long will the examination before the one jury take?
About an hour.
All right, what we'll do then is take a recess, and as far as the...
Let me just have one moment to confirm.
Certainly. And what we'll do is have the blue jury return at 5 minutes to 11, give us about a 15-minute break, a little longer than that, and the gold jury come back at 1:30. And as to both juries, don't discuss this matter among yourselves or with anyone else. Don't form any final opinions about it. Blue jury back in court. You may proceed with your examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Menendez, I want to turn your attention back to September of 1989. At that time, you received some insurance money, is that correct?
Yes.
What did you do with the money?
It went to my Aunt Martha.
Did you give it to her for herself, or was she supposed to do something
No, she
with
was
it?
going to hold it and keep it or invest it for me in some way. She's a stockbroker.
And were you to have access to any of that money?
Yes.
And what was the relationship, if you wanted to get something or buy something or do something, how would you go about doing it?
She gave me a checkbook and a credit card, and I would be allowed to, I guess, buy my daily necessities from that, or small things. If anything large I was going to do that I guess I couldn't do through that, I would call her on the phone and she would send the money.
Had you ever managed money before?
No.
Had you maintained a checkbook?
No.
Had you had a credit card?
No.
Did you feel competent to do those things?
To manage it?
To manage the kind of money you got from the insurance?
You mean in terms of receipts or things like that?
I mean, did you feel competent to handle that money yourself, to invest it on your own?
No.
Now, the jury's heard testimony about this deposit receipt that was made on a condominium at the Marina City Club. You recall that testimony?
Yes.
You recall that was a day that you were there with your brother and with Noel Nedley?
Yes.
And who was Noel Nedley?
He eventually became my roommate that I lived with
And you lived with him where?
at the Marina City Club.
And you were renting at the time?
Yes.
And did Mr. Nedley contribute to the rent?
Yes.
And do you know where Mr. Nedley's mother lived?
She lived at the Marina City Club.
And why was it that you ever went to the Marina City Club for any purpose?
Because he wanted to live there. He thought it was the best place to live because his mother was right next door and she would be able to cook dinner for us or do things like that. And so he brought us over there to look for places.
Who's he?
Noel.
And did you know his mother?
Yes.
Now, were you attempting to purchase a condominium at the Marina City Club?
No.
Why did you write the deposit check?
Because I was loaning the money to Lyle. Lyle had Lyle either didn't have his checkbook or I don't remember the details, but I had called my Aunt Martha to ask if I could give Lyle this money and turn it over, and how it would work out with the money in the account, because if I was going to do something that large, I had to call her. So I did, and I loaned him the money.
Did you know what the balance in your account was that day before you wrote the check?
No.
Tell us, Mr. Menendez, your recollection of how the purchase of the Rolex watches occurred.
It occurred when I was getting a jacket to wear to the funeral.
Okay, were you getting a jacket in the jewelry store?
No, we were waiting for it to get, I guess it was a little bit too big in the sleeves, or maybe around the waist, I'm not quite sure. I didn't have a jacket to wear, so we were waiting.
Where was the jacket purchased?
At Bullock's.
And it needed to be altered?
Yes.
And was it going to be altered right then, or was it going to be altered a few days later?
No, right then.
So you were waiting for the alteration.
We were waiting, and as we were waiting, we went into different stores.
So did you go into stores other than the jewelry store?
Yes, we went into many different stores.
And was there any discussion before the jewelry store about buying anything?
No.
And do you recall whose idea it was to go to the jewelry store?
I don't know if it was anyone's idea. It was just one of the stores that we went into. We had a while to wait, so we went to the jewelry store.
Now, was this at the Century City Mall?
Yes.
And is the jewelry store on the same side of the mall as Bullock's?
I have no idea.
You don't remember?
I don't even remember the jewelry store. I don't really have a very good recollection. I just remember we were going into a lot of different stores.
What do you mean you don't remember the jewelry store?
I remember that we bought watches there, but I don't remember the actual store.
You don't remember what it looks like?
I don't remember what it looks like. I didn't remember the lady that came in that I guess we bought them from. I don't have a good recollection of it.
So do you remember the transaction?
I remember part of the transaction, at least I remember the remembrance of it. I talked to Detective Zoller about it on the 17th.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you have any recollection of picking out any watches?
No.
Yourself?
No.
Do you have any recollection of wanting a Rolex watch before you were inside the jewelry store?
No, I hadn't thought about it.
And what happened to, you wound up with what kind?
I wound up with a silver one. Lyle asked me.
Was it silver or was it stainless steel, do you know?
It was stainless steel.
Lyle asked you what you wanted?
Yeah, we were in the store, and he was looking at the different watches, and I know it's something that Lyle liked. He liked watches. He had always wanted a watch, and so as he was looking at them, I said, "Why don't you buy one?" And he did.
He bought two, actually.
Yes, he bought two.
And what happened to the stainless steel one that you got?
I lost it in some way, somewhere, somehow.
You don't know?
No, I don't know exactly how. It disappeared one day
From where?
from my apartment.
Your apartment in the Marina City Club?
Yes.
And do you remember how long you had it before it disappeared?
3 months, 2 months.
Did this disappear like your diaries disappeared?
Yes.
Magic?
I didn't think it was magic.
You thought someone took it, didn't you?
Yes.
Objection sustained, the answer is stricken.
Did you think someone took it?
Yes.
Now, the jury's heard testimony about furniture that you purchased. Did anybody assist you in selecting that furniture?
Yes.
And who was that?
My Aunt Martha.
They've heard about a car that you bought. Did anybody assist you in shopping for that car and buying it?
Yes.
And who was that?
Steve Goldberg.
And were you seeking advice on what to buy and what to do with money from various adults?
Well, with the...
Objection sustained, the answer is stricken.
Were you seeking advice from adults?
Yes.
Advice with regard to what?
advice with regard to what to do with all this money. Whether it should just sit in a bank. I didn't know really. I never really handled money like that before, so I didn't know what to do with it.
What about advice concerning purchases? Were you seeking that kind of advice from anyone?
Objection, Rudy.
Overrule.
Not about the Jeep, but about what to do with the money. Steve suggested that I purchase real estate.
But what about
And Martha
the Jeep?
wanted me to invest it in stocks.
Why did you have a lawyer with you to buy a Jeep, Mr. Menendez?
Because I had never bought a car. I didn't know how to really go buy a car. I wasn't a good negotiator. I didn't. Steve was a friend of mine, so he came over to really do it for me.
He was the lawyer for the probate estate, wasn't he?
Yes.
Now, you said you were receiving advice concerning purchasing real estate?
Yeah, that was what Steve suggested, that I purchase real estate.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Was anyone else giving you advice about purchasing real estate?
Yes.
Who was that?
My cousin Henry.
Did you ever purchase real estate?
No. Actually, there was someone else, too,
Someone else to what?
that was giving me advice about the real estate.
Who else?
My Uncle Brian.
And what was your Uncle Brian's occupation?
He was a real estate developer, so that's what he really wanted me to go into.
And did you have discussions with him about the future and investment?
Yes.
Was there any discussion about, well, what were the discussions? Was there any discussion about him being involved in any way?
Well, yeah. He wanted to do it with me, and he said this is the best thing to go into. And I said, I don't know anything about it. And he said I knew everything about it, so he thought it was a great idea.
He said, who knew everything about it?
He knew everything about it. That's what he does for a living, so.
Okay, let me show you, I want to return to a photograph that's been up before. You marked this photograph, which is of the bed in your bedroom, correct? This is 258?
Yes.
Did you buy something for this bed after you moved into the Marina City Club?
Yes.
May I inquire what's next door?
275.
Thank you, Mary. We show you this document, this receipt. This is W.B. Shed Bed Designs. Do you recognize that receipt, Mr. Menendez?
Yes.
And what did you purchase on that receipt?
3 padded bumper guards.
3 padded bumpers?
Yes.
For what?
For the edges of the bed. I wasn't allowed to purchase those before, so when I moved in.
Menendez? Could you wait for a question?
Sure.
What's the date on the receipt?
11/30/89.
And how much did the 3 bumper pads cost?
$74.49.
And they were to go over what part of the bed?
The wooden edges of the bed, it had 3 sides, and they were supposed to go over those.
And how long had you had that bed before your parents died?
Almost 3 years.
And did you have some kind of problem with the edges of the bed?
Yes.
And what were the edges of the bed like?
They were very sharp, very hard edges, not round edges. They were cut and sharp.
Now, you're pointing to a side of the witness box. Were they like the edges on the side of the witness box?
No, not at all. These are rounded so that they're not sharp. The other ones were pointed.
And was there some reason why it was a problem to you that the edges of the bed were sharp and not rounded?
When I was living with my parents, yes.
And what was the reason that was a problem?
Because I'd have to kneel on the edge of the bed during sometimes the mirror and during sex.
And who made you kneel on the edges of the bed?
My father.
And would that hurt?
Yes.
And had you, why didn't you have these bumper pads for the bed while you were living with your parents?
He didn't want me to have the bumper pads on the edge of the bed
How did you know he didn't want you to?
because I said that the bed is supposed to have bumper pads, and he said I don't want them to have bumper pads.
Had you asked for them?
Yes.
Who did you ask?
My father.
Did you ever discuss it with your mother?
I discussed it with my mother after I discussed it with my father.
What did you discuss with your mother?
The fact that the bed was supposed to have bumper pads because for that reason it was sharp edges. And she said, ask your father.
Now, the jury's also heard testimony that you had a contract with Mr. Heffernan to play tennis, for him to coach you rather full-time.
Yes.
And when did you decide to play tennis full-time and to train and to hire a coach?
In late October, I believe.
Now, were you scheduled, you've testified you were supposed to go to college that fall.
Yes, I was.
And why didn't you just go to college?
I didn't think I'd be able to. I tried to go to Princeton to be with Lyle, and once I found out I was going to have to be in a different college, and even college altogether, I didn't think I'd be able to do it right away. I was having a lot of trouble concentrating. I was in a lot of bad states, and I figured I would try to wait a year.
Did you think you could get through college on your own?
No,
Who would be missing?
my parents.
And what was your expectation about your parents when you went to college?
That they were going to help me and pretty much do a lot of the work.
Had they always done that?
Yes.
Did you think you could get through college without them?
Some colleges, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get to UCLA, though.
Now, you said that it was a major problem. I mean, it was the sort of triggering event when your father told you you'd have to come home
Objection, Lee.
some
Sustained.
nights. This has already been testified to, Your Honor.
Well, just ask a different way.
Do you recall your testimony that your father told you that you'd have to come home to and stay home
Yes.
while you were in college? You know, you've just testified you expected them to help you with your work.
Objection, he misstates the evidence.
Regarding staying home, yes,
Yes.
objection sustained.
When your father said you'd have to be home at night, what did you understand that to mean?
I
He
understand.
misstates the evidence.
Why don't you rephrase the question?
You recall the conversation that you had with your father just before he left on his business trip?
Yes.
What did he tell you about coming home from UCLA?
He said that I was going to have to be home to study and work, and that I was going to have to sleep there several nights a week.
And had that been your expectation before, that you'd have to sleep there?
No, definitely not.
Was it? Did you have expectations, though, about going up and back from the school to your home?
Yes.
Had you, in fact, had your parents purchased something for you to allow you to go up and back?
A moped.
And did you get that when?
I got that at graduation.
So, did you expect to spend time at home, even though you were attending UCLA?
Yeah, I figured that college was the type of atmosphere where you had a lot of days off, time in between classes, and so I thought I would be having lunch or doing the laundry at home and things like that.
Did you have any expectation, though, of having to sleep at home?
No, I definitely was not planning on doing. I didn't even really want to be home at night, but definitely didn't want to sleep there.
Now, with respect to this decision to play tennis, you said you were having trouble concentrating. That was one of the reasons you couldn't go to college?
Yes.
What did you think tennis would do?
I thought tennis was something I always did to relax, to get my mind off things, and although I had trouble sometimes, it was sort of soothing for me, and it was the only thing I really knew how to do well, and so I just decided that Mark was a good friend of mine and to try out tennis.
Mark, you mean Heffernan?
Yes, he was my coach.
Okay, you said he was your friend. He was your coach, wasn't he?
Yes.
And after you made this arrangement with Mr. Heffernan, what was your schedule like?
My schedule was from 8 in the morning.
Come forward with it.
It was from 8 in the morning until, at first it was till 5 at night, and then it went from 8 till 7.
And that was training with him?
Yes.
He was with you all that time?
Yes, all day.
Did you do anything when he wasn't with you?
Did I do anything when he wasn't with me?
Yeah, with respect to tennis or training.
No, he was with me from 8 till 5 or 8 till 7 eventually.
And then what'd you do with the rest of your time?
I didn't have much time else. I ate dinner, and my roommate was there, and pretty much went to sleep around 10:30.
Now, I want to go back with you, if we can, till the end of August of 1989. Do you remember you were in New Jersey for the funeral?
Yes.
And were you planning to go back to Los Angeles in any event after the funeral, or were you planning on staying in New Jersey for some period of time?
I really had no plans. I didn't think one day to the next, really. I didn't know what was going to happen when. I mean, I knew I had one thing to do in New Jersey, which was about the computer, but...
It's one thing to do in New Jersey.
I mean, in California. But, I didn't have plans for things.
I want to go back before that you knew about this computer thing, Mr. Menendez. When you left California to go to New Jersey, what was your purpose in going to New Jersey?
For the funeral.
And what was your plan at that time about coming back?
I had no plans.
So you didn't know when you'd be back to California?
I didn't have any need to go back to California. I didn't have any need to stay in New Jersey. I didn't have plans.
So you didn't have any idea when you'd be coming back to California, is that right?
Yes.
Now, when you were in New Jersey, did something come up that led you to come back to California?
Yes.
And what was it?
Carlos Menendez telling me about the computer.
Had you had a discussion with another member of your family before you talked to Carlos Menendez about the computer?
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how it all got started. I know I was talking to Eileen and Carlos Menendez at the same time, but...
Before you left California, did you know anything at all about anything of significance having to do with the computer?
No, I knew nothing.
So what's the first thing that you heard when you were in New Jersey about the computer?
Carlos Menendez telling me he wanted to get into the computer.
And did he tell you why?
Yes, there were some files on the computer that he wanted to look into.
And that was the first information you had about it?
Objection, reading.
Sustained.
Was that the first information you had about it?
Yes, that was
Say
the...
yes to time also.
Overall.
That was the first information. It was at the reception.
And do you know what day that was?
It was either the day or the day after when all the family got together in New Jersey. It was either the day or the day after the funeral. I don't remember.
Do you remember what day the funeral was on?
No.
Now, after Carlos Menendez told you he wanted to get into the computer, did you hear anything more about the computer from any other members of your family?
There was a lot of talk about the computer. I know my uncle Carlos Baralt knew about the computer, but Carlos wanted to get into it through me, and I said fine. I didn't have any plans to do anything either way. So I told him that that's fine, and I went to talk to Eileen.
What was it that he wanted to get into on the computer?
There were 3 files, Menendez, Will, and I think the last one was List. I don't remember now.
And what was his purpose? What did he tell you was his reason?
He wanted to find out if there was a will on the computer.
Carlos Menendez?
Yes.
Well, what did Carlos Baralt have to say about that, if anything? Did you talk to him about it?
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about it, and he said, because Carlos Menendez was bringing it up, and Carlos Baralt said, it doesn't matter, it's something in the order of, it doesn't matter if there's a will on the computer because somebody has to sign it, something like that.
Okay.
Carlos Peralt wasn't that interested. He didn't want to fly all the way back to California to find out what was in it, and
As you know, this would be limited to state of mind. Here's the effect.
Yes, it's not being received for the truth of what it was said, only to reflect the state of mind of the witness here.
Now, how did Eileen get involved in this?
I went to Eileen and asked her if she could help me out. I wasn't sure whether Carlos Menendez was going to do it with his. He didn't talk about him having a computer guy go and look into the computer. He just said he wanted to look into the computer.
So you
And
approached Eileen?
Yeah, because Eileen worked with IBM, which was the name of the computer, and so I figured she would know either how to get into the computer or knew somebody that might be able to get into the computer.
Now, did you have any interest in looking in this computer?
Yes.
And what was your interest in looking at the computer?
I thought there might be some writings of my mother's in the computer that I wanted to see.
Who used this computer in your family?
It was my mom's computer.
And why did you think there might be some writings of your mother's in it?
Because, in a letter that my Uncle Brian had found, she talked about the fact that there was, she had left letters, places, different things like that. I thought they might be suicide letters. I didn't know exactly what, but anything that my mom wrote at that time I wanted to find.
Your Uncle Brian had found a letter, a handwritten letter from your mother?
Yes.
And there was some reference in that letter to some other letters?
Yes.
Was there a reference to letters on the computer?
No, I think it was a reference to Lester Summerfield, her psychiatrist, but somebody checked. I think I asked my uncle to check with that man, and he said he didn't know anything about a letter, so I thought maybe my mom put letters other places. I wasn't sure, but anything on the computer with my mom's thoughts, I really wanted to see at that time.
Lester Summerfield was your mother's therapist?
Yes.
And are you saying someone checked with him to see if he had the letter?
That was my understanding.
I hadn't finished the question. To see if he had the letter that was referred to in the letter your Uncle Brian had?
Yes.
Why did you want to see your mother's writings?
Because I missed my mom a great deal, and I just wanted to see more who she was, because I realized that last week that I didn't know who she was, and I got angry with her at one point, and I just was feeling really bad, and I wanted to find anything from my mom.
And did you tell that to your cousin Eileen?
Yes.
That's why you wanted to look?
Yes.
Did you have any interest in whether or not there was a will on the computer?
My uncle Peralt said that, Carlos said that there was no will on the computer.
My question was, did you have any
Objection
interest?
sustained. The answer is stricken.
Thank you, Your Honor. Did you have any interest in whether there was or not at that point?
No.
So, was there some arrangement that was made, as far as you understood, with Eileen to provide someone?
Yes.
And then was there some change that you became aware of in the arrangements?
Yes, Carlos Menendez had told me that he had talked to Eileen and canceled Eileen or something like that, and that actually it was Carlos Menendez's people that were going to go.
Okay. And did it matter to you whose people went?
No, I didn't care.
So was there some arrangement made for you to be at the house in Beverly Hills in order to meet a computer person?
Yes.
And did you return to California to do that?
Yes.
Now, let me just fast forward for a minute here. How long did you stay in California that trip?
The trip back,
Yes.
maybe 10 days, not sure.
Now, did you have any discussion with your brother before you left New Jersey to come back to the house for the computer person about this computer business?
Yes.
And what was the discussion?
I had talked to him. I didn't know my brother didn't know anything about this. And so in a conversation, I guess it was 2 or 3 days before, I'm not sure, I mentioned that I guess he wanted to know where I was going to be at some point.
Just tell us what you said.
I'm
Okay.
trying to explain it. And I mentioned that I was going to be going back to California for this computer thing, and that I wouldn't have been around at that time or something like that. And he said, "What computer thing?"
Okay, so did you told him what was about the arrangements that had been made?
Yes.
Okay. And did he tell you, well, I'm going to fly out there before you get there and do something?
No, he just said, "Oh, okay. I didn't know you were going to do that."
Did he tell you before he did it that he was going to come to California and do something on the computer?
No.
So when you flew to California, did you have any idea that your brother had already gotten here?
No, I had no idea.
And in fact, when you got to the house, did one of the security guards give you something?
They gave me a note
And who was the note from?
from my brother.
And could you tell if it was his handwriting or not?
No, it wasn't his handwriting.
And did that concern you?
That definitely concerned me.
Yes? Was that yes?
Yes.
Did the note, however, make reference to where your brother's whereabouts?
Objection, meeting.
What did the note say?
The note said that
Objection, hearsay.
Is it being offered for the truth of
No, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be received only to reflect the state of mind of the witness upon reading it.
Go ahead.
the note said that he had been there and that he had done something with the computer, and for me not to be concerned about that if the security guard mentioned that he was there or something in that order, and it was really surprising to me.
So did you try to reach him?
Yeah, I didn't know what this was. I mean, I figured that if he was going to leave me a note that he was there, he was going to write it in his own handwriting, and it wasn't. So I tried to reach him.
Did you believe then that he had been there at that point?
I wasn't sure.
Now, when you came back to California from New Jersey for this purpose, did someone pick you up at the airport?
Yes.
Who picked you up at the airport?
Objection, date, yes, the time.
Overall.
Casey Whalen.
And where did Casey Whalen take you?
He took me to the house.
And was Casey Whalen there when the computer person was working on the machine?
Yes.
Was Craig Signorelli also there?
No, Craig wasn't there.
You heard Craig Signorelli testify that he was there.
Yes.
Is that true?
No, he was lying.
Now, at some point in the future, did you tell Craig Signorelli about the computer and will files being or not being erased?
Yeah, I told him about it.
Now, is there any doubt in your mind, Mr. Menendez, as to which one of your friends was there that day?
No, Casey was definitely there.
Now, when was it that you learned that the something that was done to the computer, if ever, involved erasure?
When I saw the computer people at the house.
You mean Mr. Heyman?
Yes.
And how did seeing him there tell you that?
Well, he told me that the computer had been wiped, and that there was. I'm not sure. He said that the computer had been wiped, and I'm not sure what he said was there.
Okay.
I think he said nothing.
He said nothing was there?
Yeah.
Well, was he looking for something in particular? Do you know?
Yes, he was looking for anything under the files of Menendez will or list.
And when he said nothing was there, was he referring to the entire computer or to the files or what?
To the files. There was nothing under the files.
And ultimately, did you talk to your brother about this?
Yes.
And do you know how many days later it was that you talked to him about it?
It was either Sunday or the Monday after. I'm not sure. It was a few days later. I was trying to reach him all weekend.
This would be as convenient a place as any other.
Okay, we'll recess until 1:30. Again, don't discuss this case with anyone, don't form any final opinions about it, and we'll resume at 1:30.
Thank you. Mr. Menendez, we were talking, I believe, about Craig Signorelli.
Yes.
Now, before September 1989, had Craig Signorelli ever been to your house in Beverly Hills?
Before September 1989, yes, once.
And do you remember when it was that he had been to the house in Beverly Hills before that?
I don't remember the exact date.
Was it in 1988, the year before?
I think it was in 1989. May have been 1988. I don't remember. It was after the burglaries.
Well, you moved to Beverly Hills after the burglaries, correct?
Yes.
And you moved to Beverly Hills in October of 1988.
Yes.
And sometime after you moved there, did Craig Signorelli show up at your house in Beverly Hills?
Yes.
And was he with someone else?
Objection, leading.
As to that question, overruled.
Yes, he was with Steve Einbinder.
And do you recall what time of day or night it was that Mr. Signorelli and Mr. Einbinder showed up at your house?
I think it was sometime around 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Now, had there been some period of time before that day when you had not seen Mr. Signorelli at all?
Yes.
And do you know for how long a period of time?
I don't know how long a time it was because I don't remember exactly what time the incident was, but I hadn't seen him after September until that incident.
Had he been allowed at your home in Calabasas in the months before you moved?
No.
Now, with respect to the time he came to your house at night in Beverly Hills, what occurred?
He came to the house and with Steve, and I let him in. And the foyer was dark. The house was dark because it was late, I guess. I'm not sure why it was so dark. But anyway, I left in my dad's car, and Steve, Craig, and I went out.
Well, you left in your dad's car, and where were Steve and Craig?
I think Craig was sitting next to me, and Steve was in the seat right behind.
They were in the car with you?
Yes.
And you were planning to go out somewhere?
No, I just hadn't seen them in a while, so I was just was driving around.
Now, do you know if Ed Fenno was staying at your house then?
I don't remember.
Okay, what happened after you were out in your father's car with Mr. Signorelli and Mr. Einbinder?
I got a phone call from my dad.
A phone call in the car?
Yeah, he had a car phone.
And, not for the truth, Your Honor, but what did your father say?
He told me to get back home.
And what did you do?
I went back home.
And what happened when you got back home?
My dad came out of the house and told Craig that if he ever came near his property again, he'd kill him.
And what kind of tone of voice did your father use when he said that?
I thought he was going to kill him. I mean, if he ever came back, he was very angry, very upset. He hated Craig and was really telling Craig never to come back to this house.
My question was, what was his tone? Was he quiet? Was he low? Was he loud?
He was loud. He was very close to yelling.
And what did Craig do?
Craig left with Steve.
They both left.
Yeah, Craig had driven.
And where was your father when he was making this statement to Mr. Signorelli?
He was right near the fence in the Beverly Hills house. He was right near the Sallyport fence area. Craig was going back to his car on the street.
You mean the carport?
Yes.
Sallyport is something you go through in jail, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
So he was outside?
Yes.
And where was Mr. Signorelli?
He was outside as well.
And were there other people outside besides yourself? Mr. Signorelli, Mr. Aimbinder, and your father?
Yes.
Who else?
Lyle was there. My mother was there. If Ed was there, then Ed was there. If he was staying in the house at that time. I don't remember. No, I think that was it.
Did Lyle have a friend named Tracy?
Yeah, he
Was
did
she
have a
there
Tracy.
that
That's right,
night?
Tracy was there. Whoever was at the house at that time came out of the house when my dad came out.
Okay. And did Mr. Signorelli ever return to that house while your parents were alive?
No, he did not.
Now, I think you've testified that you first saw Craig after your parents died, after you came back from New Jersey. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you said it was about a week after?
It was about a week after I got back from New Jersey.
Got back in order to attend to the will
Yes.
in the computer issue?
Yes.
Now, had you talked to him before you saw him?
Yes.
And do you know, you talked to him on the phone?
Yes.
Do you know if you told him about what had happened with the computer and the erasures and all that stuff before you saw him or only when you saw him in person?
Objection called for this.
Overrule.
I think only when I saw him in person. Before then, we were just on and off trying to get a hold of each other.
Well, had you talked to him?
Yes.
Okay, so you did get a hold of him?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yes.
So how long did you talk to him before you saw him? On the phone. You said you did talk to him on the phone before you saw him.
Yeah, not very long. I would talk to him for a few minutes, and I said I was busy this day or that day. I don't really remember the conversations that well.
Okay. Do you remember what day of the week it was when you actually saw him?
No. I'm not sure. Maybe a Thursday or a Friday. I'm not really sure. It was about a week after I got back.
And where did you see him?
At my house.
And how did you get there?
He drove.
How did you get there?
I was already there.
Now, were you staying at Casey Whalen's house when you got back from New Jersey?
Yes.
And did you stay there for some period of time?
Yes.
And during the day, when you were staying at Casey Whalen's house, what would you do?
I would usually go over to the Beverly Hills house.
And why would you do that?
I'm not really sure. I don't really remember.
Did you sleep at the Beverly Hills house?
No.
Were there security guards there during the day?
Yes.
At some point, Mr. Menendez, did your grandmother move out from New Jersey and take up residence in the house in Beverly Hills?
Yes.
And when she did that, did you live there with her for a while?
I stayed at the house a lot more with her there because I didn't want her to stay alone. So at some nights I slept there.
Had she come back yet, though, from New Jersey at this point in time?
I don't believe so.
Now, when Mr. Signorelli came by the Beverly Hills house, what did you do with him?
I talked to him.
And what did you talk about?
I talked about what happened with my parents.
And how did you do that?
I told him what had happened that night about me going to the movies and going to the Taste of L.A. and why I came back and what happened and what I saw when I got back.
And when you were telling him this, what you saw when you got back, what room of the house were you in?
I was in the den.
And when you were telling him what you saw, were you showing him anything?
I was showing him where my parents had died, and I was telling him what the room had looked like and how horrible of a scene it was.
And did you tell him anything else in the course of that explanation of what it looked like?
I told him that it looked like my mother was shot after she had died, and I told him it looked like... I told him what the room looked like, and then I told him what the police thought had happened.
And why did you tell him what the police thought had happened?
Because I knew that the police were wrong in what they were thinking happened, and I told them what I thought happened.
And what did you tell him you thought happened?
I told him that I didn't think that they were shot from the back doors. I thought that whoever shot them was somebody that they knew and came in through the front.
Let me ask you something. Who was saying that they were shot from the back doors?
My understanding was that the police had said that to the papers, because that's what the papers were saying.
Did you read that in the paper?
Yes.
And you thought that the police had said that to the reporter?
Yes.
And the back doors what back doors was the paper referring to, if you know?
They said they were shot from the back, and the den had doors from behind it. It had doors in 3 different areas, from the back, from the side, and from the front.
You've seen photographs here in this trial of the French doors, the ones that had glass and blinds, wooden blinds on them?
Yes.
And were those doors behind the couch?
Yes.
And are those the doors that you thought the media was saying were used to enter?
Yes.
Now, you said you knew your parents weren't shot from the back.
Yes.
And so what did you tell Mr. Signorelli?
I told them that I thought they came from the foyer. And
They being whom?
the people that my parents knew. I didn't specify who as of
Okay.
yet.
Do you mean the people who shot them?
Yes.
Okay. So you were telling him you thought the people who shot your parents came through the doors from the foyer.
Yes.
And that, in fact, is where the people who shot your parents came from.
Yes.
And what else did you tell him?
I told them that I thought it was someone that they knew, and I told them that it could have even been me. And,
Now, okay.
and then I
Did you tell
told
him
them,
anything else?
and then I told them that it was me.
Now, Mr. Menendez, do you know why you told this to Mr. Signorelli?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was trying to tell, I was hoping for an okay response. I was hoping for him to say that, no, you couldn't have done it, or no, you're too good of a person to do it, or something like that.
Why?
Because I thought it was such a horrible thing, I wanted to see what he thought about it.
Did you want to see what he thought about it or what he thought about you?
What he thought about me.
What did you think about you at that time?
I didn't like myself very much.
Now, after you told him it could have been you, it was you, did you tell him something else?
Yes.
What'd you tell him?
I told him that it wasn't me.
So you told him every possible version of whether it was or wasn't you?
Yeah, depending on the reaction I got from him, and when he said that he didn't believe it was me, I said, you're right, it wasn't me.
Now, you heard Mr. Signorelli testify here to certain facts that he claims you told him in the course of telling him that it might have been you or that it was you.
Yes.
Was he truthful in testifying to those facts?
No.
For example, did you tell him that you walked outside and your brother was standing there holding 2 shotguns and said simply, "Let's do it"?
No, I never told him that.
Did you tell him you walked into the den and with no prior discussion at all, your brother says to you, "Shoot Mom," and you shot Mom?
No.
Now, did you have one discussion with Mr. Signorelli about what you had seen that night and the shooting of your parents, or did you have more than one?
I had one.
And did he stay over your house the night that you had this discussion?
No.
Now, when you were telling him what the room looked like where your parents were killed and what might have happened, how were you feeling?
I was feeling very, very sad. I was just remembering the scene.
And did Mr. Signorelli ever ask you any questions about what you had told him that day? Let me strike that question. Did he on that day ask you any questions at all about what you had told him, either about the way the room looked or how you were telling him it happened or anything like that?
No, he didn't say anything.
Now, did you, at that time, tell him about Lyle coming back and doing something to the computer?
Yeah, I told him all about the computer incident.
Okay. And did you indicate to him how you felt about what Lyle had done?
Yes.
And what did you tell him about how you felt about what Lyle had done?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not being offered for the truth, Your Honor.
What is it being offered for?
State of mind.
It'll be received for that purpose only.
Thank you, Your Honor.
How I felt about I told him that I was very upset with my brother.
And did you tell him why you were upset with your brother?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said I was upset with my brother because he had wiped the computer before really finding out if there was any personal things from my mother.
Now, did you describe to Mr. Signorelli what some potential will that might have been in the computer might have contained?
No.
Did you have any reason whatsoever to believe that there was a will in the computer?
No, at that point, I definitely didn't think there was.
Did you see Mr. Signorelli again after that time that he was at your house?
I think so.
Did he ever stay at your house after your parents died?
No, he never slept over at my house.
Now, Mr. Menendez, do you have an independent recollection of your own as to what day it was that you came back from New Jersey to Los Angeles?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, what day was it?
It was the day that the computer people came to the house.
Okay. Do you have an independent recollection of the date?
No.
Now, you have made reference to the burglaries. I want to read to you part of the stipulation that Mr. Kuriyama and I agreed to concerning that, okay?
Okay.
If I might, Your Honor. Regarding the Calabasas thefts, that between July 1st, 1988 and July 10th, 1988, Erik Menendez and a friend were at the home of another friend, John List Jr., whose parents were away on vacation. While searching for keys to a van, Erik and his friend found a piece of paper bearing a combination to the List family safe. Do you have that in mind, that stipulation?
I know of the stipulation.
Okay. Who was the friend that was with you at the List house?
Craig Signorelli.
And what was the reason, as far as you understood it, why your father hated Craig Signorelli?
Because Craig was involved with that with me.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, let me see counsel at sidebar.